Ndị be anyị ekele m unu ọzọ n'ụbọchị uhuruchi nke taa. A sị n'ụbọchị nke taa ya mara na anyị mma. Esukwa m na anyị ya dịka echi, na echi ada agwụ agwụ. Otu anyị kwuru otu akwa ya dịrịrị ise ise ise. Dịka anyị si kwuo unu nkwa na anyị ga-ewetara unu ya bụ daily update n'elu akwụkwọ, bụ gbasịta maka ife debe n'obodo, and gbasịta maka nwere ụwa anyị na-azọ, and gbasịta maka ihe na-eme n'Igbo communities. Nke dịka ibe ya bụ ya bụ Eastern News 24 ka esi were wetara unu ya bụ ozi ka unu ga-eme ka asị onye nụrụ si mee gịnị ya kọrọ nwanne ya. Ya bụ onye nne na n'iru akwụkwọ bụ Asari Dukubo. Na nke ikpeazụ a, ịma na mgbere unu na-egwu echenjigo maka onye gbara nwanne ya egbe ka ya na nwanne ya so na-eje nta, o were egbe gbaa ya n'ọkpa sịa n'ọkpa ya dịka ọkpa ya na ya bụ onye ahụ ga-enukunu n'ihe ya bụ ka egwu si wee chenji ya. Ka mmadogide ya ebe a. Over to you.
Established. The description also implies that it was communities other than the coastal village which were engaged in the trade. They come from up the river and sell to the natives of the village. This could refer to either Calabari, either at the Oboamafo or Elem Calabari side, as both sides would be from up the river. It could also refer to some people of Bonny, but it might certainly well refer to Krikans who were the traditional supplier of yam and similar food crops, so to the Bonny people, or to the Andonis who provided them with livestock. Rio de San Domingo is usually called today the Andoni River, while the same beyond it is the estuary immediately south of Opobo, which Walton later referred to as Comtoro. Nobody has yet identified the two small rivers which have no trade and are therefore nameless, and it is at this point that Esmeraldo description of the coast sees it. It passes on now. This was around 1612 that this description was given. We continue to look at the description of these rivers. Now, the development of Calabari's slave trade is associated with Eweredaba and that of Bonny with King Asimini. So the person who brought slave trade to the Kalabari area is Eweredaba, Black Duke. So we're going to look at why King Asimini is accredited with starting the slave trade. Now, at that time, Kalabari dominated the trade. At that time, Kalabari dominated the slave trade. That is found in Jones, when you go to Jones. At the time of Eweredaba, Kalabari was the dominant slave merchant. Kalabari was the dominant slave port. And Kalabari were trading from Bekinkri, white man land. Kalabaris were trading from Bekinkri, white man land. Now, in 1678 and 1682, John Barbot made two voyages. John Barbot made two voyages to the New Calabar River. And Barbot's report, Barbot said he stayed within New Calabar and he gave a very elaborate description of what New Calabar looks like. He gave a very comprehensive description of what New Calabar looks like. John Barbot. He gave a very good description. Then his brother, this is what he said. New Calabar, this is what he said about New Calabar. Civilized people. And we get in their proper season all sort of eatable, yam, banana, corn, etc. were available. And his brother, the brother of John Barbot, came in 1699. The brother of John Barbot came in 1699. Sorry, the network is getting crazy. James Barbot said he stayed in the house of the king at New Calabar, Torres Ramapri. That's where he stayed. And he was there at the end of July of 1699. Calabar people open care on the year. He was at the house of the king, King Robert, at the end of July, in the height of the rain. And he described the time as being seated in a marshy island, often overflown by the river, the water running even between the houses, whereof there are about 300 in a disorderly heap. The king is a pretty, the king's house is pretty high and airy, which was some comfort to me during the time I stayed there. He found King Robert a good civil man, about 30 years. Their common food was yam, boiled with fish and palm oil, and every evening they clubbed together at one other houses by turn, providing 2 or 3 jars of palm wine, each of them containing 12 or 15 gallons, to make merry. Each person, man and woman, bring their own stool to sit on. They sit around and drink to one another out of horse horns, well polished, which hold a quart or more, singing and roaring all the while till the liquor is out. James Barbot was also struck by their religious devotion. Every house is full of idols, as well as the street of the town. They call them juju, being in the nature of tutelar gods. Many of them are dry heads of beasts. Others are made by the blanks of clay and painted, which they worship and make their offering to. Before the king goes aboard a ship newly come in, he repairs to his idol house with drums, beating, and trumpets, sounding all his attendants barefooted. There he makes abundance of vow to those puppets, begging them to make his voyage prosperous, and then sacrifices a hen, which is tied alive by one leg to the end of a long pole, and has a brass ring on the other leg, leaving the poor creature in that condition till it starves to death. Every time their small fleets of canoe goes up for slaves, and when they return, they blow their horns or trumpets for joy. The king never failed at both those times to pay his devotion to his idols for their good success and a short voyage. Now, James Barbot had described how the time of New Calabar looked like then. In 1699, he said the town was on a marshy ground. And this is not far from the folklores that have survived to us this day. Obotoru yu pakate impreme na boboe ani serite owe miye na bona boboe minji seri owe bebile mate. Obotoru yu pakate impreme na bobo minji serite owe miye na bona bobo minji serite owe bebile mate. Now, what is this song saying? That is exactly the description that James Bradford gave here, that water flows between the houses, that Torres Ramapri Ellen Calabari now is seated on a marshy ground, and the king house was higher and more airy. That's what he stayed. And this is the song of the Kinesegabo, describing how Ellen Calabari was. As if it is verbatim. 1699. This song has survived today among the Kinesekabo. Obotoru Yupakate. Obotoru is the river from Dabara going down to Ellen Bekinkiri and Ellen Tombia to Fuche, the Obotoro. Now, Obotoro Yupakate imbrem na bobo minjiserite owe miye nabo na bobo minjiseri seri owe bebile mate. That masquerade Sekabo had appeared at Obotoro, which is from the New Calabar River in front of Ellen Calabar. You pass through the creek, the Ellen Calabar Creek. You will see Ellen Minama, then you reach Dabara. From Dabara, you go down. That is the Obotoro. That is the back river. Obotoro Yupakate. The masquerade. Ellen Calabar had overflown, have been taken over by flood, have been submerged by flood. So the masquerade in the Ekine house that they have left there, on the Ebe, the water had overflowed, it has flooded the community, and now the masquerade had been carried to Obotoro. Obotoro Yupakate, Imbremina Bobo, my brother come, Minjiserite, the flood had caused havoc. Owe miye, Nabo Nabobo, Minjiserite, Owe Bebile Mate. You see, a lot of us, we cannot bring the connection, the nexus. We give his history. We just think history is fairy tale by moonlight. No. History is an empirical subject. It must be reasonable, and there must be connection, there must be link. Once the links are broken, that means that history is not true. It's a fabrication, it's a distortion, it's an embellishment. Look at how what James Barbot described in 1699 and the Song of the Sekabo. Look at how they came together. Look at the nexus. Look at the connection, unbreakable connection. Describing the same scenario. Describing the same happening that was happening in 1699 when James Barbot was at Taurus Ramapri, Elem Calabar. Obotoru Yupakate, Imbre Minabobo, and Serite, Owe mi ye, Nabo boy, Miji Seri, Owe Babile Mate. It solves a lot of problems. People are making claims, frivolous claims today. But like I said, I am the correction officer of Calabar history. I'm going to correct people. When people lie, we are going to expose their lies. When people embellish, we are going to remove the whitewashed paint. I'm going to remove the whitewashed paint. I will remove it. And you see the ugliness and the beauty. If it is ugliness or it is beauty. Now, Calabari people, the port of Bonny and the port of Calabari were the greatest slave port in this part of in the whole of Africa. These two ports were the greatest slave ports. Because the greatest number of slaves right from the Congo down to Senegal, the greatest number of slaves left the port of Bonny and the port of New Calabar. And who was the pioneer person who started this slave trade? We are told that it is Eweredaba Black Duke. Eweredaba started it, and King Asimini of Grand Bonny Okoloba took from him. So they both traded, bringing slaves from Igbo land and selling, or from Ibibio land and selling. There is no report of selling slaves of Apua people, other Ijaw people, except freeborns who commit adultery, who commit murder, who steals, who committed witchcraft. They cannot kill them, so they sell them. They were not selling other Ijaw people. And that's why there is no record of any Ogbea family in Calabari that is of slave origin. Any Abua family in Calabar that is of slave origin. Any Gene family in Calabar that is of slave origin. Any Okrika family in Calabar that is of slave origin. Any
from Go TV, sir.
huh?
Say from Go TV, Lita Dominic.
From Bile that is a family in Calabar that is of slave origin, or Kola, or anywhere, or Bonny, or Andoni that is of slave origin. No. Families in Calabar that are of slave origin are either Igbos or Ibibios or other group of people. It is very difficult. It's not there. I have not found. I know all the families in Buguma, in Bakana, in Abonima, in Obuama. At least these Calabar communities, I know all the families. None of them. They migrated. Anthony people immigrated to Calabar. The people, Ekwere, Ewele, the Donny family, which is part of the Ediabale house, they are people who migrated from Andoni into Calabar. They are not slave families. So also there are Abua families that migrated from Abua into Calabar. They are not slave families. So also you have Sarah, which is the ruling house in Kola. They migrated from Egene. They are not slave family. That is why King Amakri also have attachment with Ogben. They are not slave families. They don't sell themselves. They know themselves. They identify themselves as one people, and they don't sell themselves. The only thing they do most times is this peripele, to cutting off the head of somebody to celebrate peri, which we'll come to later. So the slave trade brought enormous wealth, so much wealth to these two states, these two Ijaw states of Kalabari and Bonny, so much wealth. And a lot of slaves were domesticated. And they became great men. We are not ashamed of our history. These slaves they got domesticated and became great men. If you go to all over our land, people are trying to, historical revisionism, people are trying to embellish history, people are trying to distort history. No. Ediabali. I am Ediabali today. Ediabali is an Igbo man. He's from Obom in Abam. He's from Obom in Abam. From there, his family went to Obosi in Anambra State. Before they came to New Calabar, he's an Igbo man. I am Ediabali. So, when somebody says Igbo, no, I am, yes. The name I answered today, the stool on which I sit today, which was created as one of the first working houses to be created, in fact, among the first 5 to be created in Calabar land. Ediabali became the richest man of his time. He's an Igbo man, 100%. And he never denied being an Igbo man. So I, his worthy descendant, will not deny. I have my disagreement with Igbo, but I cannot. So also is bricks. So also is asphalt. Young bricks, Oswald, Ediabali, my father, Wananako. These are all Igbo men. Uzoma, Elebike, Elebuke, Odikadibia, David Wells, Elebuke Wells. These are all Igbos. Let nobody come and be denying that, hey, we are not Igbos, we are not this, we are not that. It's a lie. These people are Igbos. They're Igbos. So slave trade brought enormous wealth. And it also brought some sort of destabilization. It destabilized the society. Because some people brought with them so many things. The population of the Ijaw people in Calabar and in Bonny was overwhelmed by inflow of Igbo and Ibibio influence. But more of Igbo. Why Calabar was able to totally assimilate all others who came in contact with them, Bonny was not able to do so. Okrika was not able to do so. That's why you go to Ganama or Akaliama, these places, they are speaking Igbos. But in Calabari, no Calabari community speaks Igbo. In fact, even people they brought from Igbo yesterday, after today, they find it difficult to speak Igbo. So, like I said, I am historical correction officer. We have to tell our children our history, true, and leave this falsehood. Tell our history. We should not be ashamed of who we are. We should not be ashamed of who we are. It's not because somebody is making claim we are going to deny because a man is making claim. Whether people make claim or not, that's their bloody business. That will not stop us from saying that this is what we are, who we are. And we stand up to who we are. We keep record of who we are. We tell the world who we are. We stand so that from that we can draw our strength. We can become who we really are. Today everybody is fabricating. Everybody is doing this. Why the fabrication? Calabari was strong and powerful. Today Calabari is weak and is in the mud, and everybody trample on us. So our denying, our distortion, all our rubbish. Where is it taking us to? It has not taken us anywhere. It has not taken us anywhere. We are just there. Every day we are going backward. Every day we are going backward. Because when the truth take a flight, what will we be left with? The later Mainabo, while giving a lecture during the centenary, said, "Krakra sem bekete, hero sem sakete." You know the truth, and you think you can bring falsehood and impose it on people, and everybody will keep quiet and they will accept it. No, it's not possible. God has made me powerful. God has made me strong because I am telling the truth. And in telling the truth, I have made enemies. In telling the truth, so many people have said so many things about me. The rise of Bonny and Calabari and Old Calabar, and later Opopo and Nembe, was basically the slave trade. Opopo and Nembe they were not part of the slave trade. If they were part of the slave trade, it was very minimal. It was a palm oil trade and other trade than Nembe and Opopo. At the time, Opopo left Bonny to create, went to Andoni territory to become Opopo. King Jaja became one of the most powerful kings of his time. He's an Igbo slave, a freed Igbo slave, who became a chief and led the Opopo house after his fight with Jumbo in Bonny. I'm not talking about Bonny history. I have the books, but I can't tell somebody else's story. People should come and tell their story by themselves. But what I'm going to do, like I said, I am the historical correction officer. When you are wrong, I'll correct you. Bring your facts. Don't come and make unnecessary argument, insulting people. I'm not going to insult you. I'm going to defeat you with the facts. And the facts are there. People say our history is not in books. It's a lie. Our history are in books. They are in books. There are so many books. They are there. Recorded both by our fathers and the Europeans. I prefer to look more to the European books. The reason is this. I have read the ones that our people have written, and I see the historical parasitism, historical embellishment, historical distortions, and so on, concoction and all sorts of things. I've seen that. So I filter. No, I filter the European books. So today, I can boldly say that nobody has as many books as I have. Even professors of history come to meet me to borrow books from me, because I spend a lot of money in acquiring these books. From 14 something, 15, 16 something, rare books I have, nobody have them. I travel everywhere I go to. If I go to the Netherlands, I go straight to their maritime museum. From there, I look for books. If I go to Spain, I do the same thing. If I go to Portugal,
Ndị be anyị daalụ nne nụ ụmụ ife ka unu si wee na-esoro anyị n'ihe anyị na-eme. Anyị si n'ụbọchị nke taa mara na anyị mma o. Dịka anyị na-apụ n'ụbọchị nke taa, anyị si na ọ ya dịrị nche anyị na mma. Ọ ya dịrị mma na eke, dịrị mma na orie, dịrị mma na afọ, dịkwazịrị mma na nkwọ. Ụzọ ahịa anọ nke ndị Igbo ji bi na ọ ya dịrị anyị na mma. Otu anyị kwuru otu a ka ọ ya dịrịrị. Ise ise ise. Dịka ị nụrụ ihe Biafran Prime Minister kwuru n'iru akwụkwọ dịgasị iche iche, ọzọ dịka ịbịa bụ ka ife nwere ikwu gbasịta maka ya bụ ife ndị a niile okwu gasị n'iru akwụkwọ. Drọpụọla ya on the comment below. Nke ọzọkwa bụ chetakwa na ihe a bụkwa Eastern News 24 ka anyị si wee na-echetara unu, wee na-ewetakwala unu ana wee na-ewetakwala unu ya bụ ọmalịcha ife na ọmalịcha ihe a dị oke mkpa n'ala Igbo. Daalụ na ụmụnne m, ngwanụ ka emesịa.